Good morning, friends. Welcome back to At Home with Holly. My name's Holly. I'm so glad that you are here. So today, my plan was to plant garlic, but it rained a lot yesterday. And I thought, let's switch gears. Let's go ahead and get the sweet potatoes out. I don't think they're gonna be a huge harvest because we did have like mice that ate all of the other like white potatoes and Yukon Gold potatoes and russet potatoes, and I'm pretty sure that they did the same thing to the sweet potatoes. But we need to get those bags harvested, and I thought, well, let's see what else we can get into. So let's just get outside and do some gardening while it's nice, right? Let's just go outside. So I gathered some supplies. I've got a basket in case there are sweet potatoes, some scissors and a thing to collect any pieces of string or stretchy tape or whatever, gloves, and some trimmers. So today is the first like chilly fall day. I think I'm gonna go apple and pumpkin picking today because it feels like fall and I want to wear a sweater. So anyway, let's get to these sweet potatoes. Let's see what we got. I don't think we're gonna get a ton, but you never know. Got my gloves. We'll dump them out. We'll see what we get. There was a big hole in the side of this one. Oh yeah, these got eaten too. Oh my goodness. More half-eaten ones. All right, so that bag had 4 grubs and about 15 half-eaten sweet potatoes. Okay, so basically the mice ate all of the sweet potatoes. They left me just the little nubbins as a tease to what could have been, and the cat that was hunting them ate all the vines. So this was not my best year. Last year we had about, 60, 70 pounds of sweet potatoes. This year, none. I mean, that's kind of just how gardening goes, though, right? Like some years you're going to have an awesome bumper crop like we did last year. We only had a few of those fabric pots and we grew 60, 70 pounds of sweet potatoes in them. And at the time I had a dog, and I think honestly the bunny rabbits and the mice and stuff were not as much of an issue because I still had a dog, but she was older and she passed away. So this year was a learning experience that given no predator patrolling, i.e. my soft, sweet dog, bunnies and mice will definitely make themselves at home in my garden. So lesson learned. And so next year I will use hard-sided pots, and I'm thankful for the harvest that we had last year. And we're just going to pivot and turn this into a garden cleanup week. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so the mice ate all but I'm going to go ahead and put all of the little nubbins that are half eaten and all of the leaves and the roots inside the chicken coop for the chickens to play with. So once I made the decision that it was going to be garden clean out week, I tried to come up with a strategy. And the strategy became, okay, let's pick all the fruit and then let's do one bed at a time of taking it down and really putting it to bed. And there's kind of a little bit of a strategy that I have when I put stuff to bed. I take out everything and cut it off at the root so that the organic material can stay and compost in place. And then I will top them off with compost. And so I actually got 3 cubic yards of compost delivered from my local place. And so I just started topping off the beds as I put them to bed, and I would amend them with humic acid and azomite. And then I will put my silage tarps over them. And the silage tarps just help it so that any weeds that are going to germinate are going to germinate and die because they'll get smothered out. Somebody once said that Mother Nature is modest, and if you don't cover her, she will cover herself in weeds, and that is so true. So every single one of the beds, once I'm done growing in them, I top them off with compost, and I will put azomite and humic acid. I actually ran low on azomite about halfway through this cleanup, and then, but normally azomite and humic acid to help feed the soil. And then I will put a silage tarp and put some either boards or bricks or anything to hold it down, just to make sure that everything is ready for the spring. And I don't always top it off to the tippity top. It's just whatever I have on hand. But this year they really needed a good top off. So all of the beds are getting all the way filled to the tippity top with the zoo brew, which is a mixture of aged compost from the zoo, actually, the local zoo, and some other animals, and some garden waste products and stuff from some local arborists. So then I moved on to the tomato beds, and this was our last nice day on the forecast for weeks. And so I decided, okay, we're going to pull all of the tomatoes that were blushing. Well, first I started to think, well, maybe I'll just put all of them that are blushing. And then I was like, you know what? All of them are blushing. So I started to pull all of them, and I knew that was going to be a big project. So this is the next morning, and I'm just going through and pulling all of the fruit. And I mean all of the fruit from all of the tomato plants. And then I'm going to take the time to cut down every single one of them and take off the little white stretchy tape and make sure that none of it falls in the garden bed, because I don't want that to be in the way for gardening next year. So one by one, we'll just get all the beds cleaned out. Okay, so it is tomato ripening time. Since we pulled all of them, we had to put them someplace to ripen. So this is what's happening, plus the ones in my bedroom window. So the garden cleanup continues. On this day, we are pulling out all of the Roma tomato plants and the buildable cages that they were using as support. I did decide to leave the zinnias in and one basil plant that still had flowers on it because we do have a few pollinators, and I wanted them to make sure they had something that they could still eat. But everything else, I did leave the lettuce in because that can handle the cold temperatures over the next 2 weeks, and that way we can still eat lettuce. But everything else had to go. It was just time. So carrots had to come out, peppers had to come out. It was the day that we were taking out everything. And boy, did we have a lot of peppers. Somebody's been eating these. I just found these on top of the chicken coop. Yay. Okay, so you guys know the drill. After I take out all the stuff that we're going to eat, then I top off with some really good compost. So this is my perennial herb bed. So I only do, I cut back some of them, and I still have to cut a lot of them to be dehydrated this year, but I only grow stuff that's not perennial on this side of the bed. So that's the only side that I'm going to be topping off on that bed, but I am going to go ahead and top off most of the other beds while we're at it on this day, just getting ready for garlic. I'm so excited about garlic. I love being able to grow garlic. So definitely the highlight of the week is getting all of this done so we can get to planting. So in terms of adding amendments to the bed, I think compost is the most important thing that I add to the bed. But the humic acid and the azomite normally, but I ran out on this week, that I add, I do that in the spring and I do that in the fall because you're feeding the soil. It's not just the plants that you're growing, but you're feeding the soil. And those are just the things that I do to feed the soil twice a year. And then I use Trifecta Plus from My Gardener anytime I'm going to actually be planting anything as well. So these two amendments that I'm doing, it's just for the soil because without healthy soil, you can't grow nothing. So the most important thing to me is really working on having a really healthy soil. The silage tarps that I use, so my beds are 8x4 and silage tarps don't come in 8x4. They're more meant for like large scale garden operations. And so, or people that have larger plots of land. And so what I did was I think about 2 or 3 years ago, I bought one from Amazon that was a larger roll. And then I just went ahead and cut all of the pieces into 8x4 pieces. And so for some of my garden beds that don't have a trellis, they fit perfectly. For the garden beds that I have that do have a trellis, they cover almost all of it except for the pieces on the sides that are that do have the trellis. And honestly, it's no big deal. It's 95% covered, and that's the best I can do, and that's better than I was able to do before I had silage tarps. So I just got a larger roll and cut them to size. Also, these are the same. These are all these pieces of silage tarp are from the same original roll. If you take care of them, they will last you for years and years and years and years and years. So I love the fact that this is something that I can just keep reusing, and it really takes the weed seed bank that lives in my garden every year from birds dropping seeds or me letting things go to seed and drop their seeds. It really takes it down to almost nothing by the time that you plant something in the spring. So I love using silage tarps in my garden. Okay, so got the beds topped off. Let's see how they look. This bed put to bed, sorry for the wind. This bed still has lettuce, we're still eating on, and celery. I'm debating whether or not to put the shallots here or where the peppers were. This is the garlic bed, was the Roma tomatoes. I'm leaving the zinnias because there's still a few pollinators. I want them to have something to eat. This was a tomato bed. I need to put some blocks on these things to keep it down. This was the other tomato bed. This was the peppers and herbs bed. Still need to do one last harvest and start dehydrating some of those herbs. this was brassica bed. The cage is wonky and broken. Still need to harvest leeks. I have all the extra compost inside there, so I can just tip it over that way once those are harvested. But there was a riding spider over there, and I wanted to give her a little more time. This was more brassicas. These are grapes and blueberries for our berry area. So this bed's been put to bed. This still has some brassicas. It still has broccoli. I don't think the broccoli is going to head, but it's got some good cabbages. There's some cucumbers that I just picked today. And I need to top off and tarp that guy too. Asparagus and strawberries. Nothing much to do with those till everything turns all the way brown, and then we can cut the ferns back. And then still harvesting blackberries and golden raspberries. Okay, we got a basket of sweet peppers, carrots, a few leftover tomatoes, spicy peppers, cilantro, and zinnias. Pretty good for a harvest when we're just trying to clean up. So for all the beds at the end of the summer season, I amend them with humic acids and azomite and tarp them. Unless I'm going to plant something in them like garlic or shallots. And then I do use the humic acid and azomite, and then on top of that, I get them ready to be planted. And anytime I plant something, I always use Trifecta Plus. That's my go-to all-purpose fertilizer. It's really balanced, and it's really, since it's organic, it just, you can't overdo it. It's amazing. And then anytime I'm going to be planting bulbs in the fall, I actually use sulfur. And the sulfur just basically helps to make sure that the bulbs don't rot before they get a chance to grow and take hold. So I'm going to be putting Trifecta Plus and sulfur in every single bed that I'm going to be planting either garlic or shallots in. I do practice no-till or no-dig, if you want to call it, with the exception of potatoes. You have to dig those out, but I do practice that. However, anytime you amend the soil or get it ready for planting, there is the top inch or two of the soil that's kind of like a crust. And so I do usually rake all of my amendments in just to make sure it gets just below that little crust, just to make sure that everything gets where it needs to go and it's evenly distributed throughout all of the beds. So this is a little dibber, and I don't always use this when I'm planting garlic, but honestly, I wanted to see how many I could fit of the larger things like shallots or elephant garlic. So I was just starting to do this to kind of count them out, and then it was kind of fun. So I just kept going. I just kept putting the holes, and then I was like, okay, well now I know that I can fit, 30 holes in this half of the bed if I'm doing the larger things, and then for the normal sized garlic, I can definitely go much closer. So that's what I ended up doing here because it was just kind of fun and satisfying. Also, I should say that this perennial herb bed, the one that I grew peppers in, this is actually 3x8 and the rest of them are 4x8. So then I decided to see, well, is it as much fun on this one? So I was just trying to count out again how many I could put in here. I ended up making these little holes way too far apart for how I normally plant garlic, but I was able to get an idea of if I planted them the recommended spacing, how many could I fit in? And then I realized I needed to fit about 80 more cloves of garlic in. So that wasn't going to work. But on this day, when I was just trying to get an estimate of how many I needed to peel and how many I needed to have, I wanted to kind of see how many holes would fit in this bed. And again, it's super satisfying when you're doing these holes. So I just kind of went ahead and did the whole bed. So I did know that it was going to be getting dark soon, and I didn't have time to plant everything, all the garlic, because we have hundreds of cloves of garlic to plant. But I did want to go ahead and get my friend Ben, her relative Pat, who cultivated an amazing strain of garlic that grows really well in our zone, in our area. I wanted to plant Pat's garlic tonight. So I did want to go ahead and get that done. So I went ahead and did use the little dibber and dig the amount of holes that I had for the cloves that I already had separated. I amended this bed with the sulfur and the trifecta, and then I went ahead and got Pat's garlic planted tonight, and then I went inside to separate all of the cloves of garlic, and I'll take you guys along with me for that. Okay, you're gonna take the cloves, pointy end up, flat side down, and you're just gonna stick it in the hole. We're just gonna go down the line. Some of them I peeled the papers off, so I'm gonna put extras in, just in case. But just gonna do all these. I think I was really afraid to plant garlic for a long time because I didn't understand how it would work. But the fact that you can plant one small clove of garlic and you're going to get a huge head of garlic in return, again, is such a good return on investment. And it's so easy. You just, it's like a crock pot saying, like, set it and forget it. I mean, honestly, you just plant this and forget it until July, the first week of July. Around that time, you pull them out of the ground and they're done. Okay, guys, we are going to talk garlic. So I've got a lot of varieties. I'm going to go ahead and break them up and we're going to plant them. It got dark outside after I planted my friend Ben's garlic, which is Pat's garlic, family member Pat, in memory of him. So I did Pat's garlic and I have all the holes, so I have spacing and all the beds are fertilized appropriately, but I wanted to sort through and pick only the biggest cloves. So the kind that we got this year, these are the ones from M.I. Gardner. We have Early Italian, which is a soft neck. So soft neck, Early Italian. We'll be picking those apart. We have, what is this? Nukta Rose. This is a soft neck. These are a little larger. We've got, that's another Nukta. This is German Extra Hardy. It's a hard neck. Hard necks usually have larger cloves, but sometimes they have, they don't have as long of a shelf life. And then this is Ivan. We already listed that one. This is Silver White. This is a soft neck. Then we've got, what are you? Amish Rocambole. That's a hard neck. Then we've also got Music. Music is my favorite, really large cloves. We've got, I think, 2 groups. Is this one Music too? Yes, 2 groups of Music. And then we have Elephant Garlic. Elephant Garlic isn't actually a garlic, it's actually a leek. But tastes like garlic. If you ever bought chopped garlic at the grocery store, this is what they made it out of. And it's bigger, easier to peel. We like that. So I'm gonna get these separated into a bowl so that tomorrow morning, easy peasy, I can just plant them and we can go about our day. You do not have to do this inside, but it just got dark on me on this particular evening, so I decided to take it inside and do this process inside with the large bowl to collect all the papers. So just to give you guys an idea, this is a pretty large clove of garlic from a Music. This is an elephant garlic clove. So yeah, so much easier. I decided I was going to be really organized about this, so I knew exactly how many cloves I had to plant of each type, so that I knew how many across and how many
deep my holes needed to be in each bed. So I took the little lunch sacks, paper lunch sacks that I had in my pantry, and I actually separated each type and wrote on the out of the bag what type it was, whether it was a hard neck or soft neck, and how many of each I had, just so that in the morning when I went to go plant them, I had some sort of assembly line system. This is actually the first year that I was organized like this, and I'm going to continue this because normally it's just kind of a free-for-all and I end up with way more or less than I had anticipated. So I definitely like the feeling of knowing how many I had, where they had to go, and then I had enough space.
All right, so we're gonna do shallots in this bed. So, Olivia, are you gonna help me? All right. So shallots, same as garlic. You separate them and you put flat end down, pointy end up. I've already got the holes and it's already been amended. So here we go. I'll go on the other side. You can go this side, okay? Do you see where I have the holes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
How did I plant this?
Flat end down, pointy end up, and push it down so that you might have to move the soil a little bit.
And then kind of bury it.
Yeah, you want to put it down a little deeper. So you kind of want to dig a hole like that. Do you want me to re-dig the holes for you?
Oh, I got it.
Okay, a little deeper.
And then kind of bury it a little.
Yep. But I just want to be able to see where they all are. Do you know what I mean? So that, and then we're going to put shavings over the top for mulch. That's good, honey. You're doing great. So you're going to do these 2 rows. I'm going to do 3. That way I know where I've planted and where you've planted.
Okay.
Okay? That's a good one. Want our friends to be able to see.
On which end?
The flat end down, the root
I don't
side,
know.
the roots. These are the roots. That goes down into the ground, and then the pointy paper goes up.
Just gonna pointy paper though.
Yeah, that's up. A little deeper, babe. No, not not with the soil on top, but with the actual plant. Go down a little deeper. Yeah, like that. There you go.
I might have to cover the whole plant.
Well, just as long as you know where you went, you're good.
Next row.
Next row. Might be one short. That's okay. You know what?
One more.
Take this guy, since that leek's growing over there, we'll grow him right over here.
And then put this guy.
No, since that leek's growing there, we'll just put him over here to give that leek some room, because that leek wanted to grow. You know? Oh wait, what are these? Those are extra. Oh my goodness.
One right there.
One right there. Pointy end up. And then we'll put this guy.
There's not much more room.
There's not.
Maybe right here?
Yeah. We'll put it right there. That's a good idea. Okay. And then you just cover them up a little bit, and then we'll get everybody covered with shavings once we do. Oh wait, that guy. Got turned. Okay. We'll cover everybody up. Good job. We'll get some shavings after we plant the rest of the garlic and keep it going. Ready for the next bed?
Yep.
Okay, so I decided to plant the elephant garlic. We pulled out the celery this morning, gave it to the chickens because we've got plenty. And I amended this bed right here, and we are going to do our elephant garlic over here and then the regular garlic over here with the zinnias.
So I know I keep digging holes, but you don't actually need to dig the holes first. But if you have someone with little hands, like I do with Olivia helping me, it does help if the holes are already started for them so that they know where to plant them. And then also it helps them get them in a little deeper. That way they are the right depth. But I love having Olivia out with me to do these things. I love that she knows where her food comes from. I love that she probably knows more than most adults, let alone kids, where food comes from and how to grow food and how to save seeds and all that kind of stuff. But on this day, we planted over 200 regular sized garlic cloves, and then plus the 30 shallots and the 30 elephant garlic cloves. So we definitely got our got our garlic planting on today, and I was super glad to have the help, and it was her idea to make sure we labeled everything with the bags.
We did music, then Nuke de Rose, then Amish something, then Ivan, then early Italian, then German extra hearty, and I forgot about this bag. So we're about to go make another spot for garlic. Okay, so we peeled back the silage tarp right here. This is where we had carrots planted, and we amended just this strip right here. So we're gonna go ahead and put all the last bag of garlic straight down this row.
This is my favorite mulch for garlic and really for everything. It's just pine shavings from the pet supply store, and it's perfect.
Okay, so we've got that bed put to bed. Garlic, lettuce, another bed of garlic, and zinnias for the struggling last little bit of pollinators. Pat's garlic. Then we've got another row of soft neck garlic and our shallots, and everything else is still yet to be harvested and put to bed. So, pretty great little project. All done. Hi guys, okay, so I'm in now and it's warm and I've showered and I'm clean and it's way later in the day, but I just wanted to make sure I came on here and said thank you so much for spending time with me today while we planted garlic and spent the last few days cleaning up the garden, getting ready for fall. I love the change in seasons. We actually planted the garlic this morning and then went up to the Toledo Zoo to see the baby tigers and the polar bears and the baby giraffe. It's just baby central up there. So it was the perfect day for it, but I'm glad I got to spend the last few days and this morning with you guys. So thank you guys so much for all the support and the comments and the likes. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't yet already. I appreciate you guys so much, and I can't wait to see you guys next time. Bye.